Can you see me and hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Good evening, owners. Yereq. So tonight we're gonna bring Vegas back. So we're gonna reintroduce one of our vendors, Mr. Andrew Richard. He's the president and chief strategy office of Electrify. I know we all took a lot of notes and everything, and Jamie and Andrew got up there very pumped to give us the information on how we're anchored and we're tied to them in a relationship that's going to best suit us as owners when we go out there and present Yereq to the community. So let me just give you another screenshot of Mr. Andrew. He possesses a decade worth of experience within the electrical vehicle charging infrastructure market. He's experienced in hardware, software, and designing turnkey traditional and mobile EV charging solutions. Mr. Richard is the president of the Cherokee Chamber of Commerce Going Green Committee. He is also a member of the Fuse Institute EV Council and a board member of Keep Cherokee Beautiful, a nonprofit organization associated with Keep America Beautiful. Andrew is originally from Northwest Ohio, and he relocated to Canton, Georgia in 2014. Recently, he was the chief charging consultant for the Charge Across America race, which premiered on NBC Sports in December of 2021. So without further ado, let's give our attention back to Mr. Andrew Richards with Electrify. Andrew, you got the stage.
Good evening, good afternoon to wherever you may be in this wonderful world of ours. Again, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you about electric vehicle charging. Obviously, if you had the chance to speak with me before, you know I have a passion for it.
Excuse me, Andrew, we can't see you. We can hear you, but we can't see you. Your screen.
I apologize for that. How's that?
That's perfect.
Excellent. So we went over a lot of information in Las Vegas, and as you know, I took every minute you gave me. So tonight they did put some, reins on me, and they want me to really focus on from the point of where our relationship with Yereq starts in the process of you providing electric vehicle charging worldwide. So I'm going to focus this evening on the aspect of, let's think of the scenario that you've already had an individual that you've been working with commit to one of the wonderful chargers that we have available to them. From that point that they say, okay, whoever you may be, let's move forward with finding out how we're going to put this infrastructure in. So the important thing to remember is that these people are your guests. And when we're on the property, you need to let them know that we're going to be very respectful. We're not going to worry about anything that may cause them any type of disruption into their business. So when that individual says, let's move forward, there's a few key things that is going to be responsible from you as the representative of Yereq to get to Electrify EVSE, which is your electric vehicle installation provider for Yereq Geo. One thing we want to try to do is secure a property site plan, meaning that there has to be some type of electrical drawing, potentially, or an as-built drawing that shows a diagram from where the electrical room is, the power source, right? Because that's where we're going to pull the power. And we want to have as much information as we can from that. So when you people have the opportunity to give us an address and a site host owner to whom we need to contact to start the process of the site assessment, which is really the first part after they've decided that they're going to go green, right? We have the opportunity to secure this information, such as the product site, the electrical room. We were going to want to look at the links of the conduit that may be run from that electrical room to wherever they may want to have the charging. When you send that information over to Electrify, we are going to ask for what type of charger whether it's a L2 commercial or it's a fast charger or anything in between. We will need to have a copy of how many chargers they're going to have, potentially where they're going to want to have those chargers located, and if there are any challenges to whom may own the company or the business to where they're located. Maybe they rent it. So we will have to have that information as well. From the time that you give us that information through your email, we will then immediately reach out to that site contact and try to find the best time to where we can come out and start the assessment. Normally, these assessments take about an hour. And what we're going to be looking for, again, if you look at the panel on the right, you can see that there are breakers in the top half of that panel. So everything that has the black tape on it, those are potential locations to where we can add electric vehicle charging. When we find out what their capacity is, then we can go back to the owner and describe to them, this is the amount of space. We have plenty of space available to add your chargers. We will then at that time decide where the best place is. We may need to think about things like ease of access, right? We may need to think about, is it well lit? And another thing that we will be looking at and evaluating is, in some cases, is it easy for the public to get to? Some of the ways that we can determine how much volume a location can get is something that the sales representative can do when evaluating their location. In whatever state that you're located, if you pop in the address to the location to which your guest is located and go to the Department of Transportation for that state, there's an easy application to which you are able to place that address into the data center, and you'll be able to recognize how many vehicles pass that location daily. So why is that important? Well, we understand that around 1 to 2% of electric vehicles today are in the market, somewhere around 2 to 3 million. If you have 100,000 people passing your location daily, the percentages say that there's a lot of individuals that are going to want to take advantage of charging when it's available because they're in electric cars. At that point, when you can describe to the individual that there's going to be an opportunity for people to come in, charge their vehicle, and take advantage of potentially being, maybe it's a gas station. Maybe that gas station has food and beverages, hot coffee, and other services that landowner may be able to increase the amount of sales for that month.
Drew, are you changing your slides? Because we're not seeing it flip.
I apologize.
That's okay. We just want to keep up with you.
They were supposed to be. I apologize. Give me one moment. For some reason, I'm unable to pull that up.
If you hit the arrow to the left or to the right, it should move your slides.
The arrow is not popping up for me.
On your keyboard.
There it is. Thank you. Oh, I've run all the way through now. That's where we're supposed to be. Thank you. So once again, since we've gathered all the pertinent data, the building designs, which we talked about earlier, the incentives, which are readily available through the Department of Energy per state, per county and electrical provider, we'll be able to have all this information together to create a site plan. When the site plan is completed, meaning where we're going to place the chargers, what is economically the best location to put the chargers. These are the beginning points of starting to paint the picture for the landowner. One other thing that's important that we like to do is take a Google snapshot of the particular location. And why might that be important? The reason that's important to us is that we have the ability now to diagram on that map or on that picture where their chargers can go, where they're going to go, and it starts to paint an understanding of what their location is going to look like for electric vehicle charging. And I'll tell you, they'll start to understand and start to actually see cars pulling into that location to use that electric vehicle charger. After all this picture is painted, and after we have all the proper information, we're going to relay this back to the individual and say, do you accept this proposal? After that proposal is accepted, we will then move forward with obtaining permits. And this is everything why our relationship is so important. The Yereq family is going to be able to count on Electrify EVSE to take this ball and run with it, meaning that we will move forward with obtaining the permits, ordering all the material, and schedule a plan and a date for the installation. Sometimes there's utility coordination, but we'll take care of that as well. If there is utility coordination, we have to turn all this stuff into them anyways. So they're going to require, again, all that pertinent data, the building designs, what EV charger is going to be used and placed, where is it going to be placed, how much traffic does that area get, and are there any current incentives in that area? We will coordinate all the service upgrades. We will coordinate the conduit and wire to be installed from the breaker box, which we showed you earlier, to the location of the chargers, where it may go on a wall or it will be hung on a pedestal. Similar to the pedestal mounted charger that you saw off to the, if you're looking at the screen, it would have been off to the left, next to over where John and Cynthia were located. And if you remember that, that's a really sharp charger, and that's really something that people are going to gravitate towards. One thing I didn't mention when we were talking about the site plan, and I apologize for this, is something we call future proofing. That is something that we're always going to show that landowner, because if they decided to move forward and they hadn't placed the extra conduit, which is the tubing that the electrical wire goes through, and potentially mark off the sites where future chargers will go, if they don't do that today, it'll cost tens of thousands tomorrow. Excuse me. So that's what we call future proofing. After the charge, now a charger that's similar to that level 2 commercial charger, from installation alone, you should be looking between 1 to 2 days work, approximately 6 hours total. But there are some other, I always say maybe 2 days, because trenching can be harder. You can run into roots. It can become difficult. But I always try to tell the customer that our goal is to make sure that we have this in between 2 to 3 working days. And if we get it done in 1, great. Your Geo looks that much better. Once those chargers are set and affixed at their location, meaning that what a term we use is called terminated. So once the electrical wires are terminated to the charger and power is provided, there is a portion where the software integration and testing will begin. For us to have the software integration speaking to the back end, we have to call a NOC team, meaning calling a location that is looking on their computer to verify that the charger is being seen on the network. Because when the charger is seen on a network, that means that it's receiving the access from the back-end system, and therefore it will be ready for us to initiate a charging session. And everybody knows once that charging session starts, that's when the money comes in, right? That's what people are doing. They're paying for that charge. Once that verification process is completed, Electrify EVSE and Yereq Geo will send out the information on that software program. So they'll have access for their records to be able to see how many charges are happening. Everything that we've talked about when it comes to the service dashboard, the charging dashboard of the electric vehicle charging station. Again, what we talked about with software is that this gives you the ability to turn on and turn off the charger, have the billing cycle go through the electric vehicle charging machine, energy management for that landowner to distribute the power through, if they were to have multiple chargers, they could volume up the power, volume down the power, or share the power amongst numerous chargers. Again, just to highlight what we were talking about, load bearing and peak shaving. When that charging profile or the electrical profile of a particular building has a norm, right? Just a regular load that flows daily, from the lights that are on to the computers that they use, monitors, things of that nature. When we add electric vehicle charging, that can spike the amount of electric being used at a particular time. And if that time is during peak hours, it will increase the amount of electricity that landowner will be responsible for over that monthly period. But if this back-end software that we're using has smart charging, so they'll be able to regulate that load and keep it nice and clean, like you see over here on the right, where it doesn't have the large spikes or the low spikes. It's just a gradual load. So I've gotten a lot of calls, and people are asking, what's the best charger for an individual? And again, it depends on all the information that we've gathered. Are they off a country road? Are they on the corner of a major busy road? Are they having a lot of people drive by it? Are they not having a lot of people drive by it? These are some things that you need to look at to make sure that you're offering them the correct charging opportunity. Like we talked about before, traffic patterns, proximity to major roadways. One thing that's very important when we are talking of incentives is its proximity to major roadways. You may have heard the term green highway or charging corridor. These are the most important locations that specifically the Build America infrastructure bills are shooting for in the first couple years. They want to make sure that they can have people go from the East Coast and all the way to the West Coast. So one thing I just want to keep reminding you is that we're a big family and we're here to help. And we have the availability to get these types of questions in to the group through our messaging systems. So you have a question, and the reason we want you to send that question into the group initially is so that that question doesn't get continually asked, correct? Because we don't want to waste your time, and we don't want to waste our time, because we got a lot of great things going on. And if we're all asking the same question, we're taking away from the opportunity for us to get the word out. So that's really kind of re-energizing the idea that from the most important thing that we need, that you should be focusing on, is making sure that you're speaking to individuals about about electric vehicle charging.
Andrew, we really appreciate you coming on. I know it was last minute. I know Jamie had to go out of town. So I really, really do appreciate you coming on and kind of giving us a refresher course on how we can best utilize Electrify and be that one unit where we can go out there and talk about it from Yereq's standpoint and really get you all out in the community as well as ourselves out in the community. So can you re-emphasize again, because I know there's a lot of questions in reference to communication. How do we contact you all? What is that procedure?
So the best procedure that we can use right now is going through the Yereq platform and utilizing an email address where people can get their questions into. From that aspect, we can, one, answer the easy ones. And when it comes to maybe a more difficult situation, that's when we need to get on the phone and give me a call, give Cynthia a call, raise your hand in one way or the other, whether it's to me directly or to Cynthia for us to set up an opportunity to speak individually. I like to say I'm your ace in the hole. Keep me in your back pocket. And if you do have a challenging situation, don't be afraid to tell people, I'm fairly new at this, but we have experts that are in our family. And I can go back and speak to those experts and get the answers you're looking for and get back to you immediately. Honesty is going to be your best asset in this industry.
So we appreciate that. And just to reemphasize to the owners, the procedure and contact, we don't want to bombard Electrify with a lot of calls and emails directly to them. So please, let's just use the procedure that we have set up on the Yereq side. You're going to reach out to loans@yereq.com. And if I'm not available, you can reach out to Teresa Perkins and she'll be available to answer those questions. If we can't answer the questions right away, then we'll follow the protocol that we have to get those answers answered for you. So please, let's not bombard Electrify directly. Let's go through the process that Yereq has in place and using those proper emails to get the questions answered that we need to get answered. So again, Andrew, we appreciate you and we look forward to working with you guys.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for everybody's just wonderful faces in Las Vegas. You guys, you folks are amazing. You really are. And I am so proud to be part of the Yereq Geo family. I've been screaming it from the mountaintops. Just if you allow me one more moment, I work all across the industry and I've been telling people, have you gone to the Yereq Geo Energy website yet? I probably said it 30 times this morning. Because what the individuals that you have in this group are doing is disrupting, and it's an amazing thing. So congratulations again.
Thank you, Andrew.
Dana, take it away.
Wow. Did you get all that information? Did you bring your pen and paper? I've got my notebook and I've got lots of notes here. Remember, you want to take it step by step. You want to reach out to the correct email system to get your questions answered. You want to use commercial EV support at yereqgl.com. And you're going to also CC loans at yereqgl.com. So you have all the tools that you need. I hope you did take some copious notes. If not, I've got some for you. And so I want to remind you of what's happening. We're still living in Vegas, right? We're still having that energy and that excitement that we took into Vegas and back. We had an opportunity to hang out with Andrew and Jamie, and they were fantastic. So we are in great hands with these two gentlemen. I want to remind you, tomorrow night, we have Miss Cynthia King, her and her team. We have a Q&A session. So come on back tomorrow evening, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. And I want to remind you of I save the date, Monday, March 13th. You must be in the building. It's going to be super exciting. We do not want Mr. Gil Emilio to come, and we have not packed the house. Mr. Emilio is the former CEO of Apple, and he will be here with us on Monday. So be ready, be in the house. And I want to tell you all, I appreciate you for spending your time with us this evening. We will see you on tomorrow. Have a good night. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Recording stopped.